The alien world of Varian spun slowly under its bright twin suns. Cities glowed across the surface like clusters of jewels. The skies were filled with merchant ships, patrol craft, and the busy lifelines of a proud civilization. The Council of Nine, the ruling body of the Varians, sat in their towering chamber debating taxes, borders, and trade routes. It was supposed to be an ordinary day. Then the shadow came. At first it appeared as a faint mark on orbital sensors. A technician frowned, assuming it was a glitch. But the mark grew larger, darker, and heavier until every screen screamed warnings in red. A shape the size of a mountain appeared above the planet, its surface black as if it swallowed the very light of the suns. The room of the council went silent. "Identify that vessel," the High Speaker demanded. No answer came, only the sound of trembling voices. Reports flooded in. More of the black shapes appeared in orbit, silent and cold, sliding into position. They made no call, no introduction, no demand. They simply appeared as if the void itself had birthed them. "Impossible," muttered one counselor. "No fleet has authority to enter our skies without consent." Another counselor slammed the table. "Then who dares? Do they want war?" The sensors finally gave a reading, and when the translation came through, the chamber froze. The ships carried a symbol, burned into their hulls in bright silver. A circle with 3 crossing lines. An ancient crest, one every alien in the chamber had seen in old records, in warnings, in whispered nightmares. It was the emblem of Earth. The council chamber erupted into shouts. Some screamed for the defense fleet. Others whispered the name of a species long thought extinct, humanity. "They were banished," said one elder, voice shaking. "They were cast into the dark sectors centuries ago. They should be gone." "They are not gone," another said with fear in his eyes. "They are here!" The chamber's great screens filled with the image of one of the black warships. It was larger than any known vessel, its hull covered in jagged armor plates that gleamed like obsidian. No signal came. No weapon fired. The silence was worse than any attack. "They want us to break," whispered the High Speaker. "They want us to remember." The Council had reason to fear. Generations ago, when the younger races of the galaxy still fought among themselves, humanity had risen in fire. They had mastered war at a speed that terrified their neighbors. They had built fleets that tore through defenses, soldiers who would not yield, and strategies that crushed empires. It had taken the combined power of every great species to force them back. At the end of the war, the humans vanished, driven into a dark corner of the galaxy where no one dared follow. Everyone believed they had perished. Everyone believed the threat was gone. Until now, a single voice broke the silence of the chamber. "If they have returned, we are finished." Outside the chamber, panic spread through the capital. Civilians watched the skies darken as the massive ships blocked the suns. Children pointed, asking questions their parents could not answer. Military officers shouted orders, scrambling to form a defense line, but their faces showed no confidence. Inside the Fleet Command Center, alien generals stared at the readings. Their fleets numbered in the thousands. Their weapons could burn continents. Yet their calculations showed something terrifying. The human ships were far beyond them. Power outputs off the charts, hull density beyond anything seen. Even the smallest of the black warships could outmatch an entire squadron. Then it happened. Without warning, a sound filled every channel, every communicator, every screen. It was not words at first, only a deep hum that shook bones. Then a voice emerged, sharp and cold. "Attention, Galaxy! We are humanity. We are the Black Armada." The words spread across every star system like wildfire. The tone carried no hesitation, no doubt. It was the sound of a species that remembered everything and forgave nothing. "Bow before us," the voice said. "Or burn." The chamber erupted into chaos. Some councillors begged to send envoys at once. Others demanded the fleet attack before the humans gained more ground. The High Speaker could only stare at the images of the black ships, his eyes hollow with fear. In the skies above, the Armada stayed silent after the message. They made no movement, no second demand. They simply remained, dark sentinels above Varian, waiting for the galaxy to answer. The people of the planet stood in their streets, staring upward as the suns vanished behind human steel. No one knew if the next second would bring fire or peace. No one dared move, and in that terrible silence, one truth became clear to all. Humanity had returned. The Council of Nine met again that night. Their chamber, usually filled with pride and order, now felt like a prison. The walls trembled from the vibrations of engines in orbit. Every few minutes, the lights flickered, as if the very presence of the Black Armada weighed down on the planet. The councillors shouted over one another, voices sharp with panic. "This is impossible. The humans cannot be here. They are here. The sensors do not lie. They were defeated long ago. They were broken, scattered, hunted to extinction." "Then explain those ships," another cried, pointing to the screen where a black warship hovered in silence. "Do you see that size, that power output? Only one species could build such monsters." The High Speaker slammed his hand against the table, silencing them for a moment. His voice shook, but his authority remained. "Order. We must face this with reason. Fear will not save us. What matters now is survival. We must understand what they want." The room darkened as he activated the archives. Holograms filled the chamber, images from ancient wars. Everyone turned to look, even those who claimed to be too young to remember. The images showed burning skies, human fleets piercing defenses, alien soldiers retreating in terror, cities falling under orbital bombardment. And at the center, human commanders speaking the same words, words that echoed through time. No surrender. No mercy, no retreat. The councillors shivered as the past replayed before them. The High Speaker lowered his head. "Centuries ago we joined together to defeat them. They were too dangerous to be allowed to rule. It cost us millions of lives, but we forced them back. We believed they were destroyed. We chose to forget. That was our mistake," one councillor leaned forward. "And now they have returned, stronger than ever. The Black Armada is larger than anything in the records. What will happen when they strike?" Silence hung in the air until the youngest councillor spoke, her voice quiet but clear. "They will not strike right away. Their silence is the strike. They want us to fear. They want us to crumble before they even fire." A murmur spread through the chamber. The truth of her words chilled them. Meanwhile, across the capital, soldiers rushed to defense posts. Orbital fleets repositioned around the planet, but the commanders could not hide their dread. Reports came in from other systems. The humans had not only arrived here. Their fleets appeared across the outer rim, cutting off trade lanes and blockading key worlds. Every day brought news of another black warship sighted. Inside the council chamber, the fear deepened. "They are spreading faster than we can track," said one officer. "It is as if they have waited for centuries, hidden in the shadows, and now unleashed all at once." Another officer's voice cracked. "If they decide to attack, none of our fleets can stop them. We will lose entire sectors in days." The High Speaker raised his head, face pale. "Then we must decide. Do we fight or do we bend?" Gasps filled the room. One councillor shouted, "Bend? You would have us kneel to savages, to war criminals? They will never stop at obedience. They will enslave us all." Another councillor stood and shouted back, "And if we fight, we are ash. They will wipe us from the stars. I would rather kneel than die." Voices rose again, a storm of fear and rage. The chamber shook with the sound of their division. Then the room's great screen flickered. A transmission came in. The councillors froze as the seal of the Black Armada appeared, Earth's ancient emblem burning in silver. The voice that followed was calm, deep, and merciless. "We are humanity. We do not seek treaties. We do not seek words. We seek remembrance. You hunted us like beasts. You drove us into the void. You thought us dead. Yet we survived. We thrived. And now we have returned." The voice grew colder. "You will bow before us, or you will burn. The choice is yours." The transmission ended. No demands of tribute, no request for peace. Only the same message repeated, the same sentence that was spreading across the galaxy. "Bow before us, or burn." The councillors sat frozen. None could speak. None could argue. They felt as if the voice itself had reached inside their bones and carved fear into them. Finally, the High Speaker forced out a whisper. We must prepare. But know this, once the first star falls, there will be no stopping them. As his words echoed, the chamber doors slammed open. An officer rushed inside, pale and breathless. They have moved, he gasped. The Black Armada has broken orbit. They are no longer silent. The councillors rose to their feet, hearts pounding. Where are they going? Demanded the High Speaker. The officer's face twisted in dread. They are broadcasting a live message across the entire galaxy. Every world will hear it. Every race will see it. The chamber's screen came alive again, showing the shadow of the largest human warship. The voice of the commander thundered across every world at once. Remember us. Fear us. Obey us. We are humanity. The galaxy froze as the message spread. Screens lit up on 1,000 worlds showing the same thing. A human warship, black as night, filling the sky. Its hull shimmered with silver lines, its shape jagged like a blade. The ship did not drift or patrol. It hovered with the stillness of a predator ready to strike. The voice of humanity echoed again, heavy and cold. Bow before us, or burn. On Varion, billions of civilians huddled in the streets, staring up at the shadowed skies. The suns themselves looked dim under the weight of the Armada. Children clung to their parents. Soldiers gripped their rifles tighter, knowing those rifles were worthless. Inside the Council of Nine, the silence was unbearable. Each councillor avoided the other's eyes. None wanted to admit what all of them felt, terror. Then the screen flickered once more. This time it was not a symbol or a shadow. It was a face, a human face. Gasps filled the chamber. The figure stood tall, clad in black armor trimmed with red light. A mask covered most of his features, a visor hiding his eyes. His voice carried through the chamber, clear and merciless. I am Commander Aric Kael of the Black Armada. I speak for all humanity. You remember the stories. You remember the wars. You remember how close we came to taking everything. That was when we were fractured. That was when we were weak. Imagine what we are now. His words were like blades, cutting through the chamber. He leaned closer, his voice lowering. You cast us into the void. You thought the dark would kill us. Instead, it forged us. You thought we would starve. Instead, we built. You thought we would die. Instead, we endured. And now we return, stronger than you could dream. The chamber erupted in whispers. The mask glowed as he continued. Your council betrayed us. Your fleet slaughtered our colonies. Your rulers called us monsters because we would not kneel. That memory never faded. We have carried it for centuries. We are here to answer it. The image shifted. The screen filled with footage gathered by the humans. Worlds burning, human soldiers falling, children dragged from shelters. Alien fleets celebrating the destruction of Earth colonies. The images were not fabrications. They were history. They were truth. Councillors turned pale as the crimes of their ancestors replayed in front of them. Some bowed their heads in shame. Others clenched their fists in anger. But none could deny it. The commander's voice returned. We have not forgotten. We will never forgive. This galaxy will kneel, not out of choice, but out of necessity. Those who resist will vanish. Entire systems will be ash. This is the law of survival. This is the law of humanity. For the first time, the alien fleets gathered. From every sector, warships ignited their hyperdrives and converged on Varion. Thousands of cruisers, destroyers, and carriers filled the void, their formations stretching across the stars. The Council of Nine had given the order. Resist the humans before fear spread to the entire galaxy. The alien commanders spoke with false confidence. They are powerful, yes, but there are more of us. Numbers will crush them. We will strike hard and fast. Humanity will retreat once they realize the galaxy stands united. Yet no commander truly believed his own words. Each remembered the stories told in whispers. Stories of battles where humans fought outnumbered 10-1 and still emerged victorious. Still, the fleets advanced. Their engines roared. Weapons charged. The great battle had begun. From orbit, civilians on Varion could see flashes of light across the night sky. Whole families huddled together, praying their fleets would win. Soldiers in trenches held their breath as explosions flickered in the heavens. Then came the silence. At first, the alien fleets had fired together, thousands of beams and missiles racing toward a single black battleship. The night lit with fury. Every eye turned upward, expecting to see the human vessel torn apart. Instead, the human warship emerged untouched. Its armor absorbed the fire like rain against stone. And then it answered. A pulse of red light flared from its hull. A single cannon, hidden deep within its structure, fired once, only once. The beam cut through space, passing through a dozen alien cruisers as if they were paper. Ships shattered, torn apart in seconds. Flames spilled across the void. The alien commanders panicked. "Concentrate fire!" "Surround them!" More fleets rushed in. The humans did not move. They waited. Another ship, even larger, drifted forward. Its shape was jagged, unnatural, like something carved from a nightmare. Dozens of black cannons came alive at once. The void erupted. Alien ships exploded one after another, their defenses useless. The Black Armada tore through thousands of vessels with precision, as if every strike had been calculated centuries in advance. On the surface of Varian, the Council watched in horror. Their screens filled with fire. Entire fleets that had taken generations to build were destroyed in minutes. "This cannot be," whispered one councillor. "No fleet is this strong, not even ours." Another slammed the table, his voice shaking. "They are not just a fleet. They are vengeance itself." Still, the humans did not wipe out every ship. They left survivors. Alien cruisers fled, burning and broken, engines sparking. Commanders begged for retreat. Their signals spread across the galaxy. Humanity had returned, and they were unstoppable. The survivors carried more than wounds. They carried fear. And that was what the Black Armada wanted. In the command center of the human flagship, Commander Aric Kael stood at the viewing deck. His mask reflected the burning wrecks drifting in space. His officers awaited his orders, silent and disciplined. "Do not pursue them," Kael said. "Let them run. Let them tell the others what they saw. Fear will move faster than any weapon." The officers saluted. The order was obeyed. Back in the council chamber, chaos reigned. Some demanded surrender at once. Others cried for revenge, but none could deny the truth. Their fleets were broken, their defenses shattered. The High Speaker lowered his head. "They could have destroyed us all, yet they did not." This was not a battle. It was a message. On the streets below, civilians stared at the sky. The suns were hidden once more by black ships drifting in silence. Mothers held their children close. Soldiers wept, knowing their fleets were gone, and then the human commander's voice thundered again across every channel. "You have seen our strength. This is mercy. Bow before us, and you may live. Defy us again, and your stars will burn." As the message ended, a new signal appeared on the council's screen. A spy satellite from the outer rim had transmitted an image. It showed Earth, rebuilt and alive. Vast shipyards circled the planet. Hundreds more black warships were under construction. The council stared in silence as one truth settled in. The Black Armada was only the beginning. The alien spy ship drifted at the edge of the Sol system, its engines silent, its hull blackened to hide from sensors. Inside, a lone Varian scout officer sat rigid at his controls, his eyes wide. He had risked everything for this mission. The council had demanded answers. Was Earth still alive, or was it only a symbol carried by the Black Armada? The answer unfolded before his eyes. Through his viewport stretched a sight that no alien had seen in centuries. Earth. The blue oceans shimmered. The continents glowed with the lights of thriving cities, and vast orbital structures wrapped around the planet like steel crowns. Dozens of rings floated in orbit, each one filled with shipyards, factories, and weapons platforms. The scout gasped. Impossible. They were supposed to be broken. How did they build this? Closer scans revealed details that shook him to his core. Colossal shipyards assembled vessels larger than anything in the Armada already seen. Black warships, fresh from the forge, drifted into formation. Swarms of smaller craft zipped between them, a living tide of human industry, and on the surface of Earth itself, armies moved. The scouts' cameras focused on the plains, near what humans once called Europe. Millions of soldiers marched in perfect order, clad in black exo-armor that gleamed in the sun. They carried rifles of a design unknown to alien databases, weapons that radiated terrible power. Draining drills shook the ground, entire units moving as one, disciplined and merciless. The officer trembled. He had seen fear, but this was worse. This was preparation. Humanity had not returned by chance. They had been building for centuries, waiting for the day they would rise again. He activated his recorder, capturing every image. The Council had to see this. They had to understand the danger. Perhaps then unity would return to the alien worlds. Perhaps then they could form a plan to resist. But as his ship turned to leave, alarms screamed. On his display a single dot appeared, racing toward him. A Black Armada interceptor. Small, fast and armed to the teeth. It had already locked onto him. "No, no, no," the scout whispered. He pushed his ship to maximum speed, diving into the shadows of an asteroid belt. The interceptor followed without hesitation, gliding through the rocks like a predator through a forest. He sent a burst transmission. "This is Scout 47, transmitting priority code." "Earth is alive." "Repeat, Earth is alive." Static filled the line as the interceptor fired. Beams of red light carved through the asteroids, shattering stone into dust. The scout swerved, dodging debris, his ship shaking apart. The transmission bars filled, 60%, 70, 90. He held his breath. If only the signal reached the nearest relay, the galaxy would know the truth. Then the interceptor fired again. A beam pierced the scout's hull. The ship tore apart in fire. The transmission cut short. But a fragment escaped. A sliver of data reached the Council's network. Just enough. Images of Earth's orbital shipyards and black armies flickered onto the Council's main screen. The chamber fell into silence. No one spoke. No one breathed. The High Speaker's hands trembled as he stared at the footage. "They rebuilt," he whispered. "They rebuilt everything." The youngest councillor stood, her face pale. "This is not just a fleet. This is an empire. Humanity has prepared for this war longer than we have been alive." Another councillor pounded the table. "Then we are finished. Nothing can stop them. They will sweep the galaxy clean." A bitter voice rose from the shadows of the chamber. "Unless we find a weapon strong enough. Unless we fight with something greater than fleets." The councillors turned toward the voice. An old general stepped forward, his uniform marked with scars from battles long past. His eyes burned with grim resolve. "There is one project," he said. "One weapon that has been kept hidden even from this council. It was meant for emergencies such as this. We called it Project Sunfire." The councillors exchanged shocked glances. The High Speaker leaned forward. "What is Sunfire?" The general's voice was heavy. "It is a weapon that can destroy entire star systems. A weapon meant to keep humanity from ever rising again. But it was never tested. Until now, the chamber filled with silence once more. Every councillor knew the meaning. If they unleashed such a weapon, the galaxy itself would pay the price. But without it, humanity would reign unchallenged. As the councillors argued, alarms flared again. A new message from deep space. A human fleet was moving directly toward the location of Project Sunfire. The council chamber shook as the alert blared. Red lights flashed across the screens, showing the path of a massive human fleet moving straight toward the hidden base where Project Sunfire was buried. The High Speaker's voice cracked. How did they know? No one outside this council was supposed to know of Sunfire's location. The old general, the one who had revealed the project, scowled. "The humans have spies. They always had spies. Perhaps they intercepted our transmissions. Perhaps they guessed. But if they reach Sunfire before we activate it, all hope is lost." The chamber filled with tension. Councillors shouted at one another. Some demanded immediate activation of the weapon. Others warned that unleashing such power could doom them all. But outside, war was already coming. On the hidden world of Arith Prime, construction bays glowed with unnatural fire. Deep underground, Project Sunfire stirred. Engineers in silver suits worked without pause, their faces pale with fear. At the heart of the complex rested a colossal weapon unlike anything seen before, a star killer. Its core was a swirling ball of unstable energy, contained by vast rings of alloy. One scientist whispered, "If this fails, we will destroy ourselves before the humans even arrive." Another snapped back, "If we do nothing, the humans will destroy every world we love. We must test it." Above the planet, defense fleets bristled, their captains staring at the black horizon. They knew humanity was coming, and then the humans came. The Black Armada appeared at the edge of the system, their ships sliding out of the void like shadows given form. No flash, no roar, just silence and presence. Hundreds of black warships formed into a perfect spearhead, engines burning with crimson light. At the front stood Commander Aric Kael. His mask gleamed as he studied the defense lines. His voice carried through the fleet. "Arith Prime holds their secret. We will take it." No retreat. No delay. Human officers saluted as the Armada surged forward. Alien fleets answered with fire. Hundreds of beams streaked across the void. The Black Armada moved as one, shields flaring, cannons roaring back. The sky lit with destruction. Ships shattered into debris, their wreckage burning in silence. But this battle was different. The aliens fought with desperation. They knew what they protected. They threw every ship, every soldier into the fight. The Armada advanced slowly, steadily, carving through their defense, but paying in blood for every step. And then, below the surface, Project Sunfire awoke. In the control chamber, engineers screamed as alarms blared. The weapon's core spun faster, glowing brighter, the energy inside clawing at its cage. The general's voice roared over comms, "Fire it! Show humanity the price of their arrogance!" The rings snapped into alignment. Energy surged through conduits larger than cities. The planet itself shook. A beam of raw light burst from the surface, shooting into the heavens. It struck a star. The defenders watched in awe and terror as the star pulsed once, then collapsed in a brilliant storm of fire. The entire system lit like a sun being born again. Worlds cracked. Moons burned. Fleets caught in the blast disintegrated instantly. The humans watched as one of their forward ships was consumed in the storm. Even their advanced shields could not withstand such fury. For the first time since the Armada's return, silence filled the human command deck. Kael's voice cut through the quiet. "They have a weapon that can burn the galaxy itself." On Varian, the Council of Nine watched the broadcasted test with horrified relief. Some councillors cried out in joy, "We have the power. We can stop them." Others trembled. "At what cost? That system is gone. Millions of lives erased in a single strike." The High Speaker clenched his hands. "If we do not use it, we will all be erased anyway. If we must become monsters to survive, then so be it." But even as he spoke, reports arrived. Humanity had already changed tactics. Dozens of fleets were mobilizing, converging not only on Arith Prime, but on every star system that might feed Project Sunfire. In the human flagship, Kael gave his command. They believe this weapon will save them. It will not. We will break through their defenses. We will send soldiers into their heart. We will tear Sunfire apart from the inside. His officers nodded. Human Marines prepared for drop, their black exo-armor gleaming under red light. They loaded weapons, their faces set with cold purpose. The largest invasion since humanity's return was about to begin. The alien generals on Arith Prime stared at their screens as the sky darkened. Dozens of human dropships cut through the atmosphere, fire trailing behind them. Humanity was not retreating. They were coming. The skies above Arith Prime boiled with fire. Alien fleets and human warships clashed in a storm of destruction, beams of light and cannon fire tearing the void apart. Whole cruisers broke in half, spinning into the planet's gravity before burning in the atmosphere. From the surface, the people of Arith Prime watched the heavens blaze. The twin suns seemed dim compared to the fire of war. The ground shook as thunder rolled across the skies, though no storm had formed. It was the echo of fleets dying above them. Inside the command chamber of the Black Armada's flagship, Commander Aric Kael stood tall. His mask reflected the chaos beyond the viewing glass. "Report," he ordered. "Frontline fleets are engaged," an officer replied. "We have destroyed 60% of their defense ships, but Sunfire is charging again. If they fire before we breach the surface, Earth itself may be in danger." Kael's voice was steel. "Then we will not give them the chance. Deploy the ground legions." At once, the Armada's dropships broke from formation. Dozens, then hundreds, fell into Aerith Prime's atmosphere, their black hulls glowing red from friction. The world's defense cannons fired up at them, beams streaking the skies. Dropships exploded mid-air, but most survived. Ripping through fire and smoke to land near the Sunfire complex, the ground shook as the first human soldiers stormed out. They came in waves, armored in black exosuits, moving with machine-like precision. Their weapons roared, cutting down alien defenders with brutal efficiency. The soldiers never broke formation. They marched like a tide of iron, pressing toward the heart of Sunfire. Alien generals rallied their troops. "Do not break. Hold the line!" Tanks rolled forward. Mechs unleashed salvos of plasma fire. Trenches spat fire into the advancing humans. But the humans adapted. Squads moved like predators, covering one another, advancing no matter the cost. Their rifles pierced armor, their rockets shattered walkers. Their discipline broke the defender's spirit. For every human who fell, 2 more rose to take his place. The ground ran red, and still the Black Armada pressed forward. Inside the Sunfire control chamber, engineers screamed as the core spun faster. Rings of energy pulsed brighter than ever before, threatening to tear the planet apart. "We must fire now," one cried. The general shook his head. "If we fire without full charge, we risk collapse. We must hold until it stabilizes," another shouted. "We cannot hold, look!" The screens showed human legions breaking through the outer defenses. Explosions rocked the complex as dropships crashed into bunkers, disgorging more soldiers into the fight. "They will be here in minutes," the engineer whispered. Above the planet, the fleets fought on. Alien commanders screamed orders, desperate to buy time for Sunfire to charge. The humans fought with relentless fury, their ships striking in precise formations, cutting through enemy lines as if guided by a single will. But the alien weapon loomed. Its energy spiked, its rings spinning faster, preparing another system-destroying strike. An officer on Kael's ship shouted, "They are targeting Earth, Commander. If they fire, our home will die." The chamber went silent. Even the battle noise seemed to fade. Kael's voice was a growl. "Then we must stop it here now. Send every ship, every soldier. Earth must survive." On the ground, the battle reached its peak. Human legions stormed the outer walls of the Sunfire complex. Explosions tore the air as soldiers grappled with alien defenders in brutal close combat. A squad of humans breached the gates, cutting down resistance with disciplined fire. Inside, the air burned with energy from the core, its light bathing the halls in deadly brilliance. A captain shouted over comms, "We are inside the complex." "Repeat, we are inside." Kael's reply came cold and sharp. "Destroy it, whatever the cost." Back in the Sunfire chamber, the general stood firm, watching the core glow brighter than ever before. He clenched his fists. If humanity wants war, then let them drown in fire. Charge complete in 60 seconds. The engineers stared at the timers, sweat pouring down their faces. "If we fire, Earth will be destroyed. Then Earth burns," the general answered. The countdown began. 50 seconds. Human squads forced their way through the inner corridors, fighting room by room. 30 seconds. Alien soldiers fell back, their lines broken, their screams echoing through the halls. 20 seconds. Human captains ordered charges, knowing time was almost gone. 10 seconds. The core screamed with power, the entire planet trembling from its energy. The countdown struck 0. A spear of white fire burst from the surface of Aerith Prime, tearing through the sky, cutting into the void of space. The Sunfire weapon unleashed its fury, and its beams stretched across light years in a single breath. The alien generals roared with triumph. "Earth is finished!" The chamber shook as the energy core howled. Engineers fell to their knees, blinded by the burning light. The ground itself trembled, as if the planet could not contain the weapon it carried, but something was wrong. The beam did not strike Earth. Instead, it shattered against a wall of light, high above Arith Prime. The Black Armada's flagship glowed as its shields surged to maximum. Commander Aric Kael had thrown the entire fleet into formation around a single point, layering their shields into one massive barrier. The Sunfire beam struck it like the fist of a god. Warships screamed as shields cracked, metal warped, and engines melted. Whole ships disintegrated in the blaze. Yet the wall of humanity held. On the bridge, alarms blared. Officers shouted. The ship shook like a dying beast, shields collapsing. "We cannot hold, Commander." Kael's voice was unshaken. "Hold one moment longer." The beam scorched the sky for 30 endless seconds, then flickered, then broke. The shields shattered. Ships drifted in ruins. But the Earth still lived. Humanity still lived. Kael rose, his mask glinting in the dying light. "Now, strike them down." On the surface, human legions surged like a storm. The failed firing had drained the Sunfire core, leaving its rings glowing weak and unstable. Inside the complex, squads of Marines fought through burning corridors. Smoke choked the air, the walls shook, and every step brought them closer to the weapon's heart. Captain Vera's unit burst into the control chamber. Blaster fire filled the room as alien guards turned to face them. The human rifles cut them down. Within seconds, the chamber belonged to humanity. The alien general stood alone before the core, his eyes burning with hatred. "You think you have won. Sunfire will burn again. You cannot stop destiny." Vera raised her rifle. "Destiny belongs to those who fight for it." She pulled the trigger. The general fell, but the core still raged, its unstable energy spiraling out of control. Above the planet, the Armada regrouped. Kael received the message from Vera's squad. The weapon was unstable, moments from tearing the world apart. "Extraction impossible," she reported. "If this core goes critical, it will take half the system with it." Kael's voice came through the comm, steady as stone. "Then you know what must be done." Her squad fell silent. They all understood. To save Earth, to save humanity, Arith Prime had to die. In the control chamber, the Marines set charges around the core. Their armor glowed in the burning light, their weapons shaking in their hands as the core screamed louder. "Charges set," Vera confirmed. The squad gathered at the chamber's edge, standing tall as the weapon roared behind them. "Glory to Earth," one whispered. "Glory to humanity," another answered. Vera closed her eyes. "Detonate!" The world ended. From orbit, the Armada saw the explosion. Arith Prime cracked like glass. Fire burst through its crust, splitting mountains, boiling oceans. The Sunfire weapon screamed one last time, then collapsed into itself. The planet fell silent. Only a cloud of ash and fire remained. Kael stood unmoving, watching as the enemy's greatest weapon vanished forever. An officer whispered, "We lost the squad. They gave everything." Kael's hand tightened into a fist. "Their sacrifice saved us all. Earth lives because of them." The fleet stood in silence. Then one by one, ships sent signals of mourning, their lights flashing across the void. Humanity honored its fallen. On Varian, the alien council sat in silence, their faces pale, their arrogance shattered. Sunfire was gone. Their fleets were broken. Their secret weapon was destroyed. One counselor whispered, "They cannot be stopped." Another trembled. "They are not conquerors. They are something worse. They are survivors." The High Speaker buried his face in his hands. "We thought we could make them kneel. Instead, we made them rise." The Black Armada turned its course back toward the stars. Earth shone behind them untouched, defiant. Kael gave his final order. "The galaxy will remember this day. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not break. We are the Black Armada. We are the storm. The war was not over, but the galaxy had seen the truth. Humanity had returned. Humanity had unleashed its wrath, and nothing would ever be the same again. Deep in the void, far beyond alien space, other civilizations had watched. Giants, older than both humanity and the Council, stirred in the dark. For them, the Black Armada was not a threat. It was an invitation. The true war was only beginning.